Committee of the Los Angeles City Council's Planning and Land Use Management Committee. We will start by calling the roll. Mr. Mejia?
Yes, Councilman.
Present.
The sound is really bad.
I think the chair has to mute or everyone else has to mute while Mr. Mejia speaks to avoid the echo.
Councilmember Harris Dawson.
Present.
Councilwoman Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilwoman Yaroslavsky.
Here.
Councilman Lee. Absent. And Councilwoman Hutt.
Here,
That's 4 members and a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. As we do every meeting, we'll start this meeting by taking public comment on agenda items. Our goal is to get to as many speakers as possible. Then we'll move to the agenda item, one item at a time, hear staff presentations, and vote accordingly. City Clerk, could you please read the rules of public comment into the record?
Yes, sir. Members of the public who would like to offer public comment on the items listed on the agenda should call 1-669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 161-644-6631 and then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. During public comment, city staff will call on members of the public by the last 4 digits of their phone number. By pressing star 9, callers raise their virtual hand to request to speak. Once the caller hears the last 4 digits of their phone number, an automated Zoom voice will ask the caller to press star 6 to unmute themselves when it is their turn to speak. Once the caller is ready to speak, they must state their name and the items they are calling to speak on. Failure to do so will result in the call being muted and subsequently disconnected. Appellants and/or their representatives and applicants and/or their representatives will be allowed to speak for a total of 3 minutes per side unless otherwise noted by the chair. Members of the public wishing to speak on one agenda item only shall have an opportunity to speak for 1 minute. Appellants and applicants will be given an opportunity to speak when their item is called. Each appellant and applicant has a total of 3 minutes to speak. An appellant can choose to have a single representative speak on his or her behalf or divide the 3 minutes among his or her team. Anyone else, including an attorney or project manager wishing to speak on an appellant's behalf who does not do so during this 3-minute period may offer a minute of public comment whenever the committee chairperson opens the public comment period for the meeting, which is usually at the beginning of the meeting. Therefore, we expect that appellants and applicants have the respective teams assembled and ready to present at the appropriate times today. Members of the public wishing to speak on more than one item shall state that and shall be allowed to speak for a total of 2 minutes. Failure to raise your hand to speak in a timely manner before the comment period for the item ends results in forfeiture of the opportunity to participate in public comment for the item. Mr. Chair, if I may, for the record, a community impact statement has been submitted by the Bel Air Beverly Crest Neighborhood Council for agenda item number 4 in support of the matter, and another community impact statement has been submitted by the Empowerment Congress North Area Neighborhood Development Council for agenda item 6 against the matter. Madam City Attorney, please provide additional guidance on public comment.
Adrienne Corsani, City Attorney's Office. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you are not speaking on topic, or if we cannot tell whether you're speaking on an agenda item, you will receive 1 brief warning. If you do not immediately and clearly return to the topic, or if you continue to stray off topic and disrupt the meeting, you will forfeit the rest of your time and we will move on to the next speaker.
Thank you so much. So before we open up the lines for public comment, I just want to let everybody know that we will continue item number 2. We'll continue item number 2 till the following Plum agenda meeting, which will be the 7th of February. And with lines for public comment.
Councilmember Harris Dawson, Adrian Corsani, City Attorney's Office. Are there any changes or amendments that should be mentioned before public comment?
Yes, thank you so much. I believe Mr. Mejia has some, and then we may have some from council offices of the planning department.
So for item number 5, there's an additional language at the request of CD6 to add to the clause instructing the preparation of the specific plan for the Van Nuys Airport to include the following, and/or other land use tools. That's the extent of the additional language for item 5. And for item 6, on the appeal situated in CD8, there are new conditions and findings dated January 31st that have been uploaded to the council file for the conditional use permit and the site plan review, and I believe that the planning department has those and can be read into the record and summarized.
Do you want to read them into the record
If
and
that's
summarize them now, because people are going to give public
Sure.
comment?
So the additional conditions, there's 32 additional conditions, Mr. Chair, and there are, I believe, a total of 6 new findings. In summary, the 6 new findings, 3 are for the conditional use permit and 3 for the site plan review. In summary, for the conditional use, I will read into the record those 3 findings. 1, the project will enhance the built environment in the surrounding neighborhood and will perform a function or provide a service that is essential or beneficial to the community, city, or region. Number 2, the project's location, size, height, operations, and other significant features will be compatible with and will not adversely affect or further degrade adjacent properties in the surrounding neighborhood or the public health, welfare, and safety. And 3, the project substantially complies with the purpose, intent, and provisions of the general plan, the applicable community plan, and any specific plan. And as to the 3 findings, for the site plan review, there are 3 of them. 1, that the project is in substantial conformance with the purposes, intent, and provisions of the general plan, applicable community plan, and any applicable specific plan. And number 2, that the project consists of an arrangement of buildings and structures, including height, bulk, and setbacks, off-street parking facilities, loading areas, lighting, landscaping, trash collection, and other pertinent improvements that is or will be compatible with existing and future development on adjacent properties and neighborhood properties. And finally, the 3rd one, as to the site plan review finding, that the project is not a residential development, therefore, that the finding requiring recreational and service amenities is not applicable. Therefore, the hotel project does include 2 outdoor terraces and a fitness center for any hotel guests that will improve the hotel experience and minimize any impacts on neighborhood properties. And those are the additional conditions and findings, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mejia. And with that, we can commence with public comment.
Caller with the last 4 digits, 3603, press *6 to unmute yourself, and please state your name and what items you're speaking on.
James Donovan, I want to speak on item 6.
You may begin.
My name is James Donovan. I'm a USC student. I'm also the policy advisor for Trojans for More Housing. We're a student organization. You can find us on Instagram. I live right across the street from this site. I can throw a rock at it where I'm sitting right now. And it's right across the street from USC. And I can tell you USC does not need another hotel. There's a hotel on the other side of campus. And I've never heard any student saying that their parents had trouble getting a room nearby so that they can visit their kids. And while I actually like the idea of having ground floor retail and a community child education service and a community education facility. Those would all help the community and provide jobs, but we do not need a hotel sitting above those things. We need affordable housing much more than we need a hotel. Many first-gen, low-income students have difficulty finding affordable housing. A lot of low-wage USC workers need affordable housing, and not to mention, the permanent LA residents have been displaced from the USC surrounding area because developers will buy up the lots and charge rates that
Thank
only
you,
the
caller.
wealthier
Your time
students
is up.
can afford.
Caller with the last four digits, 1470, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Maria Patiño Gutierrez, and I'm with SAGE and the Unidad Coalition. I want to speak on item 6.
You may begin.
Okay, so we asked you to vote no on item 6. One of the false narratives that has been raised as to why there should be an approval of the hotel on public land is because the land will continue to stay vacant. We want to uplift that because it is a public site, there are opportunities for the land to be developed for public good. Voters in LA just overwhelmingly voted in favor of Metro ULA. We can use funds for Metro ULA to build affordable housing on this site. In addition, the site was listed on the housing element inventory for candidate sites for housing. LA voters are saying yes to affordable housing on public land, and the South LA Planning Commission, the zoning administrator, already said no to the hotel. We ask you to consider the needs of the community as you make your vote today. Vote no.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last four digits, 9929, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Luis Morales, and I will be speaking on item number 6.
Please begin.
Yes, I just want to point out, the need for a no vote in this matter, because it will just, if you vote yes, it will just kind of reinforce the belief that, City Council is negligent towards the actual needs of low-income and, housing insecure folks, and that are already in Los Angeles. And by building a hotel there is no real benefit to community. Why would community members from the pre-existing location want to stay in a hotel when they can barely afford to pay their rent? The claims that are made that, the community will be able to come in and out as they please is, an erroneous fallacy that, is laughable if you have to pay to use the restroom at McDonald's or Burger King. So I just ask that, the health of the community is taken into consideration, knowing that the Bethune site has contamination in the soil, and there are children next door.
Thank you, caller.
and
Your
people who
time
walk
is
by
up.
there.
Caller with the last four digits, 9929. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself, and please state your name and what items you're speaking on. Again, caller with the last four digits, 9929, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
So we have
hello.
28 people on the queue for calls. I'm going to close public comment at this time, and we're going to set 30-minute levels, 30-minute time. So at 1:45, we should conclude our public comment, which will allow everybody on the line to speak and go into deliberation. Thank you.
Hello?
Hello, speaker.
Yes.
Is
Hello,
this
can you hear me?
caller with the last four digits, 9929?
Yes. I just wanted to reiterate the importance of not building a hotel on the public land site. There's way more things that can be useful to build.
Thank you, caller. Sorry,
on-
you already
This person's
spoke.
spoken already. Thank
You've
you.
spoken already. Okay, thank you, caller.
Vote no.
Okay, caller with the last four digits, 1 second. Caller with the last four digits, 3719, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hello?
Hello, caller with the last four digits, 3719.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Eric Saha. I'm a resident of CA. And I believe affordable housing is extremely important for community development, but it's not the only way that we can help develop this community, which is why I think we have to vote yes for this hotel project. They've already offered a generous amount of space open to the public on the ground floor and second floor in the form of a conference room and banquet hall. And on top of providing space, free space to the community, it's also going to help promote economic development to an area that's desperately in need of it. So please, I urge you to vote yes for this project. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last four digits, 6776, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hi there. My name is Kiara Ryder, and I want to comment on item 6.
Please begin.
Okay, so I do want to oppose item number 6. You know, the Bethune Library in South Central is actually named after a Black American civil rights advocate, and she absolutely would want this library to be used for housing and other community needs. Just so you know, under the Surplus Land Act, right now there is a violation, and I emailed the State Housing Authority to let them know that we do need their support in getting this land so it can be used for the community needs. Like, that's great that the hotel is giving us a little bit of space to use, but we could use the entire space to develop affordable housing. We could get a small library, a public bathroom, and all those things that we need in that space and have it under a community ownership model. I just want to remind you again that the Black population in Los Angeles, we still make up about 40% of the homeless population, even though we're only about 8% of that total population. There are 70,000 people homeless in Los Angeles County. Hotel workers are striking right
Thank
now
you,
because
caller.
they don't have any records.
Caller with the last four digits, 6987, please press star 6 to unmute yourself. Caller with the last four digits, 6987, press star 6 to unmute yourself. Okay, caller with the last four digits, 3089, please press star 6 to unmute yourself. Caller with
Hello,
the
my name is Carly de la Cruz. I am with Tres Alta Ley and a member of Unidad. I want to comment on item 6. I urge you to vote no on item 6, which would veto a decision from the South LA Planning Commission to reject the conditional use permit on publicly owned land. This land was formerly the site of the Bethune Library. A decade ago, the city promised that whatever would get developed on the site would provide ongoing community benefits. A hotel being built on this land would not fulfill these requirements. The city zoning administrator said no to the hotel. The South LA Planning Commission said no to the hotel. Most importantly, for 10 years, the people have been saying no, including the neighborhood council that represents the community. In the midst of a citywide housing crisis, we should not be using valuable public land for corporate development projects like luxury hotels, which gentrify and displace communities to accommodate tourists. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last four digits, 5833. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Wait, hello, can you hear me?
Please begin.
Sorry, thank you. So yeah, I'm calling you all, or I'm urging you all to vote no on item number 6. Now is not the time to be supporting a hotel development. What you all should be doing instead, rather, is to support affordable housing in the area. Time and time again, South LA community members have clearly stated that they want to see affordable housing in the area, and there is a greater need for it as we are currently experiencing the aftermath of the pandemic. Also, LA recently declared a state of emergency on homelessness, which includes increasing affordable housing. However, this development would take away those opportunities to build more. And also, on the other side of Expo Park near this site, there was actually a development that included hotel rooms, but they decided to replace those units with housing instead. And this can be done with this site as well. Instead of a hotel, we can do affordable housing. So yeah, I just want to emphasize again that we should be using public land for public good. We should not be having these development projects like luxury hotels, which would gentrify and displace our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last 4 digits, 2009, press *6 to unmute yourself. Caller with the last 4 digits, 2009, press *6 to unmute yourself. Caller with the last 4 digits, 5833, press *6 to unmute yourself. Again, caller with the last 4 digits, 5833, press *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, next caller. Caller with the last 4 digits, 2009, press *6 to unmute yourself. Caller with the last 4 digits, 2009, press *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, next caller. Caller with the last 4 digits, 4715. Press *6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is William Flores, and I am with the South Central Arts. I am an ally of the Unidad and resident of South Central Los Angeles, South LA. Council District 8. I'm calling in to comment on item number 6. I urge you to vote no on item number 6, which would veto a decision from the South LA Planning Commission to reject a conditional use permit on publicly owned land. This land was formerly the site of the Bethune Library. A decade ago, the city promised that whatever would get developed on the site would provide ongoing community benefits. A hotel being built on that land will not fulfill those requirements. The city zoning administrator said no to the hotel. The South LA Planning Commission said no to the hotel. Most importantly, for 10 years, the people have been saying no, including the neighborhood council that represents this community. In the midst of the citywide housing crisis, we should not be using valuable public land for corporate development projects with luxury hotels, which...
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last 4 digits, 4500. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
I'm calling to be, I think it's a later one on the Van Nuys motion.
Please
Hello?
begin.
Hello?
We can hear you. Please begin.
Yeah, is this for the, was it number 8? No, number 5? Have you done that one? The motion 221127? Hello?
Yes, the motion hasn't been voted on, but there was an amending language that was read into the record.
We welcome your comment at this time.
If I can make a comment on 1127, I just think that there should be no expansion at the airport. We voted on a moratorium at the Citizens Advisory Council, and there should be no new hangars and no increase in aviation commercial activity at the airport until a vision plan is done. And the ordinance number that is stated, nobody can find that ordinance number, 177327. If you could reread it, I'd appreciate it. I've been on hold trying to get through, so I haven't heard the amendments.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last 4 digits, 7658. Press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Anthony Garcia. I think it's incredibly important we finally take advantage of this opportunity to build something and improve the surrounding area. The project will add tons of jobs for the local community and improve the walkability of the area. I went to USC and also grew up in South LA. And I know the counter argument to this is that a lot of people want affordable housing, but how can we keep pitching the same idea when it has failed at least twice already? Adding an affordable housing project there doesn't help the immediate local community. It helps those outside of this community by bringing them into an area that is already lacking safety and retail. Adding more housing is definitely fundamental to a growing housing crisis, but it doesn't all have to be centered in the USC area. Most individuals can't even be accepted to low-income housing. The threshold is so low, you have to almost purposely maintain a part-time job and not exceed a certain amount of hours. The property law has been for far too long. I think it's time to do something with it now. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last 4 digits, 0863. Press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Please state your name and the items you're speaking.
And I would like to comment on item number 6 in support of the hotel project. I believe that a hotel will add tremendous amount of value to that area. While I understand there's a need for affordable housing, that only helps the small group of people, whereas a hotel will have a much broader and more positive impact on the neighborhood. A hotel not only helps the existing area, but it also creates jobs, attract additional businesses, and provide resources for the surrounding communities, especially with a dedicated facility for the community education and child services. I hope you will take these into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last 4 digits, 5996. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
They asked me if I wanted, David's mom asked me if I wanted to take the chocolate.
Caller, please state your name and what items you're speaking on. Please state your name and what items you're speaking on.
speak unmuted. Yes, baby. Okay, say no, thank you.
Can we go to the next caller, please?
Someone offers you something.
Caller with the last four digits, 7741, press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Patrick Jen, and I am a member of the applicant group. I'd like to speak on item number 6.
Please begin.
So, you know, it's hard to overstate the controversial nature of this project, and I think it's important, though, for the committee. I guess I'd refer them to the amount of support that we did have at the Area Planning Commission and anything else that's also been documented in the case file, plenty of signatures and emails and support. But most importantly, I think it's vital to focus on the economic development and the vitalization of that Vermont corridor. We did speak to every business along Vermont Avenue. We have a letter of support from several of those owners in support of the project as well. And I think while obviously affordable housing is a dire need that we have in this city, this is a good project for this area and certainly will benefit in other ways. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last four digits, 0673, press star 6 to unmute yourself. Caller with the last four digits, 0673, press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Placida. I'm calling on item number 6. Can you hear me all right?
Please begin.
Okay. My name is Placida. I'm an organizer with SAGE and a member of Unidad. I'm calling to urge you to vote no on item number 6. There has been an argument made previously in the meetings that there are already a lot of affordable housing projects in the area and that they're more on the way. This is wrong. There are not actually a lot of affordable housing projects. If anything, we are in a almost like we're in a limit. There's a vacancy, right? There's a deeper need and demand for projects than there is a supply of them. Even the mayor has a homelessness initiative, and homelessness is largely caused because of the lack of affordable housing. And there's clearly not enough affordable housing because of the homelessness that we see. There's also a housing element that the city of LA has to work on, and this public land is one of the few areas that the city can implement it in, specifically public land. Hence,
Thank you, caller.
we need more
Your
affordable
time's up.
housing projects.
Caller with the last four digits, 1929, press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Yes, hi. First of all, this is on item number 5 about the Van Nuys Airport, and I want to thank Max and Jonah for helping get this motion through, because now that we don't have any representation, and hopefully it was voted yes. I didn't hear how the result of that was, but hopefully yes. Because our community really, there needs to be real community input, and residents' voices really need to be heard. The fact that Van Nuys Airport is being discussed, expanded, and increasing operations, especially jet traffic, while CD6 has no representation, is wrong. This motion has some great points, except for the line with additional hangar space. What we really want is to move the jets away from the neighborhoods. The nearby communities, residents, and schools are the real stakeholders, and so far we don't have a voice in what's happening in the future planning of Van Nuys Airport. It seems only the FBOs, private charter companies, and business interests are making the decision. So hopefully this motion will address that, rectify the situation before any more leases, construction,
Thank you,
or
caller.
expansions are even considered. Thank you.
Caller with the last four digits, 0942, press star 6 to unmute yourself. And please state your name and what items you're speaking on.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Cool. My name is Alberto Rivas. I'm a community member. I live in the area, work in the area. I want to speak on number 6. I just want to say that I think you guys should vote yes. I think it's a great opportunity for economic development in the area. You know, a lot of people need jobs. Like I said, right, we're in like an incoming recession, depending on who you ask. I'm a USC student, about to graduate, so you know I will be staying in the area. So this is pretty pertinent to myself. I would just like the opportunity to, you know, have jobs, have economic, you know, people coming in and out of the community to be able to, you know, bolster the community economically. Yeah, that's about all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, speaker. Caller with the last four digits, 1403, press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Yes, all items and general comment.
I think this person's phone is broken.
Hello, human.
Caller with the last four digits, 3510, press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Juan Luna. I'd like to speak on item number 6.
Please begin.
Yes, like I said, my name is Juan Luna. I'm a member of the Southwest Mountain States Regional Council of Carpenters. I work and recreate in the vicinity of the project. I believe that I will be impacted by the environmental impacts of the project. The city should require project to be built with contractors that will hire locally, pay prevailing wage, and utilize apprentices from the state certified apprenticeship training program. Workforce requirements reduce construction-related environmental impacts while benefiting the local economy and workforce development. In a recent 2020 report titled Putting California on the High Road, a Jobs and Climate Action Plan for 2030, the California Workforce Development Board concluded that investments in growing, diversifying, and upskilling California's workforce can positively affect returns on climate mitigation efforts. The South Coast Air Quality Management District recently found that local hire requirements can result in air pollutant reduction.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last four digits, 2009, please press star 6 to unmute yourself, and please state your name and what items you're speaking on. This caller already spoke. Caller with the last four digits, 6085, please press star 6 to unmute yourself, and please state your name and what items you're speaking on.
Hi, my name is Kiana Armstrong. I'm an ally of Unidad and a student at USC. I'm calling to comment on item 6. I urge you to vote no on item 6, which would veto a decision from the South LA Planning Commission to reject a conditional use permit on publicly owned land. This land was formerly the site of the Bethune Library. The city promised that whatever would get developed on this land would provide ongoing community benefits. A hotel being built on this land would not fulfill those requirements. Corporate development projects like luxury hotels gentrify and displace communities to accommodate tourists. In the midst of a citywide housing crisis, we should use valuable land to benefit the community. For years, people have been asking for things that benefit the community on this land. The public land should be used for public good. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last four digits 5992, press star 6 to unmute yourself, and please state your name and what items you're speaking on.
Hi, this is Pastor Matt Cable at St. Mark's Lutheran Church, speaking on item number 6. Our congregation is located right next to the Bethune site, and we want to reiterate all the concerns that have been raised by the community, as well as the concerns raised by the neighborhood council and the zoning administrator and the planning commission. The church next door to the site shares these concerns. We're in a housing crisis. The hotel is not what our community needs, and we cannot support this project. We urge you to vote no. However, if this project has to go through, our next priority as a congregation is ensuring that all of the commitments made by the developer are followed through on. We want to make sure that our labor agreements and community benefits and environmental protection. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller with the last four digits 0152, press star 6 to unmute yourself, and please state your name and what items you're speaking on.
Thank you for the time. I'm calling on item number 4, short-term rentals. I believe this is also under the arching of 14-1635-10S, which does have community impact statements, and I'd like to make sure that you're aware of those and that you are looking at those through this. Home sharing problems are becoming a major issue here, and the management and administration of it is falling short of what the overarching ordinance 185931 was intended to do. And in light of the most recent incident we've had with a mass shooting at a home sharing incident, we need to take this and bubble this up. We have been waiting since August for a 90-day return on information, and we are hoping that this is going to come to fruition very soon. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Speaker. Caller with the last four digits 0152, press star 6 to unmute yourself, and please state your name and what items you're speaking on. Caller with the last four digits 9327, press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is LaTanya Wade Willis, and I am speaking on item number 6. I grew up in this community, and the Bethune Library was previously located on this site, and I urge you to vote no on item 6 because it's a conditional use permit. And in the midst of a citywide housing crisis, we should be building affordable housing, not hotels. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. For the record, I'm calling the last speaker. Caller with the last four digits 1705, press star 6 to unmute yourself, and please state your name and what items you're speaking on. Caller with the last four digits 1705, press star 6 to unmute yourself. I see that you've unmuted, speaker. Please state your name.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank
Hello?
you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Good afternoon. My name is Selena Andrade. I just wanted to call in and show my support for item number 6. As someone who lives and works in the community, I can see that the hotel is just not a hotel. Tuning into previous meetings with this specific item, the developers have set aside space for our youth inside the structure that will only help them grow for the future. This plan will help the entire community grow as a whole through improved walkability, increased foot traffic to all the local businesses, and new jobs to a community in need. Please vote yes for a project that will steer our community in the right direction of growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Chair, that concludes the allotted time for public comment.
Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody who called in on these items that are before us today. We have, Mr. Mejia, item number 2, which we want to continue until next week, February 7th. If There's no objection. That'll be the order. And then items 3, 4, and 5. Items 3, 4, and 5. The chair is requesting that we adopt those items on consent if there's no objection. If you could read those into the record, and then I'll look to see if there's any discussion amongst members, and we'll vote on those items.
Okay, so for item 3, it's a mitigative negative declaration of the related CEQA findings. It's a recommendation from the Planning Commission to approve a vesting zone change from the restricted industrial zone to the limited industrial zone. It's to construct a self-storage building, an extra space storage situated in CD7. The recommendation is to approve the environmental clearance and the vesting zone change ordinance, the findings and the conditions of approval. As noted in the Planning Commission report dated December 29th, 2022. Item 4, it's a motion, Blumenfield Harris Dawson, instructing the Housing Department and Building and Safety and the Planning Department to report in 60 days on the result and accuracy of the short-term rental study from McGill University and provide a status report on the city's home sharing program. Recommendation therein is to adopt. Item 5 is a motion, Martinez Blumenfield, instructing the Planning Department along with airports and the airports department, rather, to prepare a specific plan. And as mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, as amended to expand on that clause and to indicate and other land use tools for the Van Nuys Airport to replace the Van Nuys Airport plan and zoning ordinance. The recommendation therein is to adopt as slightly amended the clause instructing the preparation of the specific plan. I can call the roll if you please, Mr. Chair.
All right, seeing no request for discussion, if you can call the roll, Mr. Mejia?
Yes, Mr. Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Aye.
Ms. Jaroslavsky.
Yes.
Mr. Lee absent. Ms. Hutt.
Yes.
That's 4 members and unanimous, Mr. Chair.
All right, that takes us to item number 1.
Item 1, Mr. Chair and committee members, is a Planning Department report and recommendations relative to equity indicators and methodologies on how they relate to ongoing land use planning efforts centered on equity and recent progress that has been achieved in the development of these tools.
All right, we have a report from Department of City Planning.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Blair Smith, Senior City Planner in the Citywide Housing Policy Unit of the Department of City Planning. At the December 6th Plum Committee meeting, we provided an update on the Planning Department's transformative efforts to integrate equity into its planning processes and practices, particularly through implementation of the housing element. Today, I will provide a brief overview of a planning report and recommendations relative to equity indicators and methodologies. This is a subsequent report that was prepared in response to the committee's direction at its December 6th meeting, requesting a comparison of different equity tools, including the state TCAC HCD opportunity map, the Controller's Los Angeles Equity Index, and equity indicators developed by CUNY Institute for State and Local Governments. We were asked to consult with BOE's Infrastructure Equity Team project team to provide recommendations with new updates that the city could make to the Controller's Los Angeles Equity Index map and incorporate into future land use decisions and programs in the housing element. And finally, we were asked to provide an outline on the city's strategies, programs, and efforts towards creating equity tools for the city in the past 5 years and the progress that has been made. To prepare for this report, we worked with staff from the Housing Department, the Bureau of Engineering, the Office of the City Administrative Officer, and representatives from those departments are present today to assist with or respond to any questions. The report includes an introduction to the overall concept of equity indicators and methodologies, looking at different types of approaches and considerations relevant to evaluating the data used in these tools. It then provides a background on the relevance to land use and planning efforts, central to which is the need to evaluate and measure fair housing outcomes in compliance with the state's affirmatively furthering fair housing requirements. The central focus of the report is a detailed analysis and comparison of various equity indices. This includes existing indices, including the state opportunity map prepared by TCAC and HCD, former controller Ron Galpern's LA Equity Index prepared in 2020, indices prepared by the CUNY Institute for State and Local Government for 6 jurisdictions, and the City Planning's Health Atlas. In addition to that, indices that are currently in development were explored, including BOE's Equity Scorecard Pilot Project, the CIO's Citywide Equity Index, and City Planning's Citywide Housing Needs Assessment / Fair Share methodology. Finally, the report includes a brief summary of additional progress that has been made at the city level to create other tools and metrics to evaluate equity, including the JEDI Zones program, the LA Repair Participatory Budgeting Program, the city's assessment of fair housing, and the GeoHub. Next slide. The analysis of various equity indices includes a detailed discussion of key considerations. This includes a general description of the individual index and tool, its overall purpose as it relates to city activities, the timing or the availability of the tool, an analysis of the individual data inputs and the methodology or weighting system used in creating the index, and a discussion of the utility and relevance of each tool to land use and planning efforts. The report also includes attachments with a detailed comparison of the data inputs and methodologies, as well as relevant maps. Next slide. By way of keeping a high-level summary of the analysis, slide 4 shows a comparison of some of the key indices and considerations we looked at when evaluating the potential utility towards the ongoing RHNA rezoning program. This included looking at whether the tools are complete and available for use or still in development, whether the data is regularly maintained to ensure that the tool reflects current conditions and represents more than a point-in-time view, whether the tool allows for local input or tailoring, and critically, whether the tool considers racial and economic segregation. Due to affirmatively furthering fair housing requirements associated with the housing element, metrics or tools used for housing and land use planning are required to explicitly consider areas of racial and economic segregation. Of these available tools, only the state opportunity maps represent a readily available data source that reflect these fair housing considerations. Next slide. Slide 5 summarizes some of the key findings included in the report. First, indices consider varying inputs, indicators, and methodologies, which are tailored to the overall purpose or goal of each type of equity index, meaning each index is unique. This variation is often needed to allow for equity to be evaluated as it relates to a given purpose. For example, inputs to measure fair housing needs are different from sanitation service delivery needs or needs for sidewalk improvements. The department understands that pursuant to Council File 21-0039, the CAO will be carrying forward the work begun by BOE to establish a citywide methodology to inform the budgeting process and among other goals. This presents a key opportunity for the CAO team to lead a greater coordination across departments, to share lessons learned, but it is not necessary or beneficial to completely align all methodologies due to their varied purposes. Due to statutory deadlines and state fair housing considerations, the RHNA rezoning program should continue with a focus on higher resource areas as defined by HCD and TCAC opportunity maps. As described in the report, the state opportunity map is recommended by the state as a tool for measuring equity outcomes related to the rezoning program due to its strong connection to fair housing. And lastly, the report found the citywide housing needs assessment and fair share methodology presents a longer-term opportunity to develop a locally tailored approach to ensuring equity is integrated across future land use and planning efforts as they relate to fair housing. As noted in the report, this work is expected to get underway later this year. Next slide. Slide 6. The report includes 3 recommended actions in addition to the adopted recommendations from the December 6, 2022 report. These are summarized in slide 6 and include a request to affirm the direction of the housing element rezoning program as adopted by City Council and certified by HCD to utilize TCAC/HCD opportunity mapping to focus new housing opportunities created through the citywide RHNA rezoning program in higher resource areas. The second recommendation includes to direct the CAO to establish a technical advisory working group that includes staff from relevant city departments to convene quarterly to coordinate on equity tools and indices, share data sources identified as necessary to evaluate equity measures, and among other goals, ensure that fair housing is incorporated into future indices. And lastly, to direct city departments to consider and evaluate fair housing related factors when developing any methodologies intended to evaluate or measure equity outcomes, including consideration of high segregation and poverty areas, racially and ethnically concentrated areas of poverty, and racially and ethnically concentrated areas of affluence. Staff from the CAO, BOE, and LAHD, as well as myself, are available to answer questions. With that, that concludes the staff presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your report. Questions or comments from members of the committee? Folks will know that we've been at this for about a year, trying to get aggressive equity plan to be submitted to the council. I see Mrs. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just curious why it was determined that the CAO would be the right one to kind of help measure, or at least, I guess, be in the lead on this particular indices and making sure that it was equitably distributed. I think when we talk about, when we talk about all these things, it doesn't strike me as, oh, right, the CAO should be leading it. So can someone help me understand how that came to be?
Sure. Blair, would you like me to go ahead? Sure. Okay. Thank you for taking the time to hear the presentation today. In answer to your question, we were asked by council to undertake this effort, and I can follow up with the specific council file numbers to this committee, but we were asked to undertake this effort in part because of our connection to the budgetary process. So if we own and maintain an equity index, it will allow us to incorporate it directly into the city's annual budget process, as well as into our capital planning process.
Okay. Yeah, the one thing I continue to struggle with a little bit as we have these conversations, and I thank you for, again, I get the relation to the budgetary process, but there's a lot that we're actually putting and building into the CAO's office that should be living within the departments. So I'm trying to reconcile that balance, which I think is important. So I recognize in the context of the budgetary allocations and measuring, but it'll start to get a little muddy. So and Vince, I think you just showed me that with your expressions. So anyways, I'm just trying to reconcile that, but I think these are obviously very important. I think we look at districts across the city and planning areas that fulfill, or some that fall substantially short in making sure that they're providers of the very, when it comes to the supply of housing, when it comes to all of these other things, that we need to talk about how we respect all areas of the city, that we don't engage in a new practice of what I call this new age of redlining in certain respects when it comes to planning and land use, when it comes to homeless housing, when it comes to where we put affordable housing, because we see that there's been just disproportionate embracing of that in some areas more so than others. And so I think that's I had those questions, but I thank you for that answer. And, I think irrespective of where it lands, the bigger issue is that we're going to start to track it, that we're going to start to measure it. We're going to have those hard and very factually based conversations that people don't get to hide behind when it comes to land use policy in the city. But we can't ignore where the needs are and the concentrations of where these opportunities exist. And I thank you all. I know it's a lot of work. I know it's a big undertaking, but I thought it was important to ask that question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You definitely piqued my curiosity. Part of the conversation has been about how does the planning department spend its resources with regard to the full geography of the city. As an example, I know on this committee that I've now chaired for a handful of years, disproportionately the things that this committee deals with are in about 3, maybe 4 districts. And the rest of the city, you know, it's rare that Ms. Rodriguez or myself have anything on the agenda in this committee that we spend a lot of time on and staff spend time on. So I know there's the calculation of how the department and the city spends its resources, but how do we look at the private sector investment, which either over invest in some areas and then actively avoids, some of us have gone as far as to call it economic apartheid in other parts of the city.
Thank you for that question, Blair Smith. I think that's an excellent flag as we think about, you know, developing future indices and methodologies. Trying to understand and measure investment and where it's occurring, where disinvestment is occurring, I think is absolutely essential. And as we further develop our fair share allocation methodology, that's something certainly we'll try to incorporate and consider.
All right, thank you so much. Any other discussion on this item? All right, we have specific recommendations on this item. If you can read those into the record, I will move them and we'll call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So the recommendation is to adopt the recommendations in the January 18, 2023 Planning Department report as read into the record already by City Planner Blair Smith at today's meeting, which are additional recommendations to those adopted by the Council on January the 18th, 2023 as part of Council File 21-1230. I will call the roll, Mr. Chair. Mr. Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Aye.
Ms. Jaroslawski.
Yes.
Mr. Lee absent. Ms. Hutt.
Yes.
That's 4 members and unanimous, Mr. Chair. We need to vote on item 2, which was recommended to be continued, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. Call the roll, please.
Yes, item 2, committee members, has been continued to next week's meeting. We need to take a vote. Mr. Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez. Ms. Rodriguez? Okay. Ms. Jaroslawski?
Yes.
Mr. Lee absent. Ms. Hutt?
Yes.
That's 3 members and it carries, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. That takes us to item number 6.
Item 6, sir, this is an environmental impact report, CEQA findings, communication from the South Los Angeles Area Planning Commission relative to its denial of a conditional use permit and site plan review, and an appeal filed by the project applicant Henry Fan relative to the construction of a 168-room hotel building situated within 500 feet of a residential zone for the property located at 3685 South Vermont Avenue in CD8.
Thank you so much. We'll have a report from Economic and Workforce Development Department. Our leader of that department is Carolyn Hall.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, council members. My name is Carolyn Hull, and I'm the General Manager of the Economic and Workforce Development Department. We have a slide presentation, and my colleague Blair Miller will start sharing the screen. Okay. The department supports the commercial development with the hotel on the former Bethune Library site. In my comments, I will provide, you can just go to the, in my comments, I will provide a description of the site and then provide background information as to why the commercial development of the site is important for the city. You can go to the next slide. The proposed site that was previously the Bethune Library is 33,400 square feet, slightly less than an acre. It is directly across from USC, and it is along a commercial corridor. Next slide. The only 3-star hotel within a 2-mile radius of USC and Expo Park is the USC Hotel. So the proposed project use of a hotel fills a gap in the community. All other hotels nearby, all of the facilities, accommodation facilities nearby are motels. Vagabond Inn, Sahara Motel, Pine Tree Inn, Solo Motel, and I can go on. USC has 44,000 students and 28,000 faculty and staff. Expo Park is home to the California Science Center, which is building an expanded pavilion for the space shuttle. It's home to the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, the new stadium for LA Football Club and the Angel Football Club, Memorial Stadium where USC football plays, and which will host several Olympic events. Furthermore, in 2025, the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art will open. Furthermore, the site is located in an area with some of the highest concentrations of affordable housing in the metro area. Within a 1-mile radius, there are approximately 200 Proposition HHH units. In addition, nearly 18% of all existing housing vouchers issued by HACLA in the city of Los Angeles are located in Council District 8. This is higher than every other council district in the city. Additionally, CD8 has been denied economic assets, and this is a rare opportunity to develop one. By approving this project, you will help redress some of the wrongs committed in the last redistricting process. Next slide. It's important to note that the project will generate annual tax revenues in excess of $1.6 million for the city that can support services in the council district and near the project. But with that being said, this project is about people. According to LAEDC, 24% of the households in the council district are living below the poverty line. This is significantly higher than the average for the city. This is an opportunity to provide private sector union jobs in South LA, along with the potential positive impact on businesses along Vermont. You can go to the next slide. It is in the public good to provide jobs and economic assets for South LA. The project will provide numerous community benefits, including but not limited to living wage jobs, funding for after-school programs, youth sports, workforce development initiatives, and numerous other community benefits. These community benefits have an estimated current market value of $1 million. In conclusion, part of tackling homelessness is providing jobs to folks all over the city. The argument is not an either-or situation for affordable housing or economic assets. Council District 8 has over 2,500 units in affordable housing stock, and many more in various stages of planning. CD8 has welcomed many different forms of subsidized housing within a mile radius of the site and will continue to do so. But the community needs economic development with an opportunity to support small businesses. So again, the department is in support of a commercial development at the site. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have additional findings to be presented by the Planning Department.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and other members of the committee. Earlier today, Mr. Mahir had read into the record the findings and conditions that were submitted by the planning staff. So you have those to go along with your vote.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Now we'll hear from the appellant, Bethune Hotel Ventures, LLC.
Henry Fon, press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, council members and plum members. I'm Henry Fan of Ryan Capital, developers for this project. I want to highlight the benefits that we have for the community in this project. The areas covered by, we have worked with Council District 8 and the local community to create a community benefits agreement that totals $1 million. It was impossible for us to work with every community group, but we did the best we could for this to develop this benefits package. The areas covered by the benefits package are affordable housing, home buyer down payment assistance, after-school programming, performing arts, workforce development, youth advocacy for at-risk youth, youth education, food security, and youth sports. Additionally, we provided public space within the hotel that will be available to the community. We have a community center, approximately 2,800 square feet, 1,500 indoors and 1,300 square feet outdoor space, a multi-purpose room, approximately 2,600 square feet. That includes banquet space as well as a pre-function space. meeting space that includes office and conference rooms that are of approximately 1,000 square feet. The community center has its own separate entrance on the south side of the hotel. The multi-purpose room and the meeting space is on the second floor of the hotel, where there will be a dedicated exclusive elevator for that floor only. The total square footage of available community space is 6,400 square feet. And my business partner, Charles Kim, would like to add some more comments.
Hi, my name is Charles, and next month will be the beginning of our 5th year of this process. So it's been quite a long endeavor. I want to provide some context to folks on this call because I think just given the length of time, how long it's taken, I think people forget about how we ended up to where we are. So number one, we were selected through an open to public RFP process to which we responded. Number two, we submitted a 300-page proposal that was approved by 3 agencies, EWDD, City Council, and even the Mayor's Office. We were awarded 95 out of 100 on our submittal, which we understand to be an incredibly high score. This process has been long drawn out, and it's been a bit disappointing on our side. The RFP, which was issued, stated a high desire for hotel and hospitality assets. The RFP stated that all departments, including planning, were to support this project. The CPIO states that hotels are targeted use and gives clear benefit and preference in certain aspects of the development, and yet somehow the CUP was denied. And even more disappointing was the process via the APC, completely flip-flopping its decision over the course of 4 to 5 months. We all get that housing and affordable housing is an important issue for the city, but I think, again, people are conflating the issue here. Again, we go back to what is allowed on this site. And I get the need and the use of city land, but maybe that's something that should have been discussed and vetted properly, or people should be aware of before the RFP was issued.
Thank you,
I can
Speaker.
imagine this is
Thank
what
you,
the city
Speaker.
intended, and I can't imagine this.
Your time is up.
Thank you so much to the appellant and to Planning Department and well as our EWDD. Council members, committee members, I'm asking for an aye vote, hopefully a unanimous aye vote on this item. It is a project of much controversy, but it's a project that we need to get done in the 8th Council District. This area, as folks have outlined, the District 8, this idea that we don't do our share of affordable housing, District 8 fully has 17% of all HACLA housing vouchers for low-income people are used in District 8. The next closest district is almost half that amount. In the area in and around this development, just on the 8th District side of the street, because this is on Vermont, and so the east side of the street becomes the 9th Council District. Just on the 8th District side, 948 units of housing, 681 of them are affordable, 267 of them are permanent supportive housing. And we have more in the works at the Jefferson Drill site, at the corner of Jefferson and Vermont as well, up to 1,500 additional affordable units. But the 8th District needs to be able to participate in the economy of Los Angeles. This idea that you draw a line around a district and then you say everything that's an asset is in the other district and this district gets nothing. So when the World Cup comes to LA, if were we to go along with the folks who are opposed to this project, what the 8th District will get out of that economic activity is increased traffic, people parking all through their neighborhoods, trash, and everything else, and not get $1 benefit from that economic activity. The same thing applies to the motel. The same thing applies to the Lucas Museum, which will come online, the soccer stadium, and all the rest of it. And so this council member believes strongly, for every day that I'm here, that the 8th District ought to be able to participate in the economic activity of the city, particularly when it's right in the backyard of this district. And so with that, again, I want to thank everybody that's worked on this, including the advocates who've opposed it and the folks who support it and our staff. And with that, I'll ask you to read the recommendations, and I'll call the roll, Mr. Mejia. If there's no discussion, which I don't see any.
Yes, the recommendation, Mr. Chair and committee members, to grant the appeal filed by the project applicant, Henry Fan, Bethune Hotel Ventures LLC, and thereby overturn the determination of the South Los Angeles Area Planning Commission to deny the conditional use permit and site plan review for the construction of a 168-room hotel building located within 500 feet of a residential zone for the property located at 3685 South Vermont Avenue. And 2, adopt the revised conditions and findings dated January 31st, 2023, uploaded to Council File 230026, and as read into the record at the beginning of today's meeting, to approve the conditional use permit and site plan review. I will call the roll. Councilmember Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rodriguez. Absent. Councilwoman Yaroslavsky.
Yes.
Councilman Lee, absent. Councilwoman Hutt.
Yes.
3 members, and it passes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, and thank you, members. Thanks to the staff and team that put this meeting on. Mr. Mejia, can you confirm that that concludes our business for today?
It does, sir.